This is Ming the Money Alchemist. My intention for this podcast is that it amps up our manifesting game for this year. Each call will play with a topic related to money, and we'll have a practice, and we're going to have some fun around it. Please join me, and we're going to have a great time. Thanks for joining me. It's the day before my birthday. And, it's been an interesting journey this summer. It's interesting because somebody in the Facebook group had commented on how they loved the fact that I had told my brother way back when that I didn't know how I was going to pay the mortgage because I didn't, and I didn't want to go down that hole of anxiety because I believed that miracles are in the unknown. Well, guess what? I got to experience it all over again. And it's kind of like this. It's like my first divorce was horrible, right? I didn't know the law of attraction. It was just horrible. I was like suicidal. I was depressed. It was just crazy horrible. All right, second time around, it came again. And I thought, you know what? This time, divorce is not even going to be a bad word. It's not going to be something where, it makes your stomach sick. It's going to be a word of emancipation, of freedom, of power. And I set the intention. Not to say, I didn't cry every day. You guys have read my book, Money Blues to Blue Money. But it was a completely different experience. So here we are again. Here I am again. I had no idea this was happening. You know how sometimes, you don't need to go look for contrast. Contrast just comes, which is why you don't need to go look for it. So I found out that my best friend and business partner, she was selling the house that I was living in. And not only selling, she was moving to another state. Now, she and I have been friends for 20 years. We've talked and seen each other every day. This is crazy. So the energy of this transition is like a marriage. It's a divorce. It feels that strong. So you get the idea of the intensity of it. And it literally came out of the blue. I cried for like 2 days. But then, you know what? I realized, and I even told myself, I coached myself, Ming, the miracles are in the unknown. And I reminded myself not to get all crazy. And I said to myself, you know what? I just want to know where I'm landing before my birthday, right? And yeah, it was scary because you don't know where you're going to be. And I looked at a bunch of places, and it's like during the middle of the pandemic. You can't really go see anything, right? You're looking at things through videos, through 3D. And it was really, really, really kind of scary journey. But this is what I did. So I walked around my home and I looked at everything that I love about it. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you know that we've got a beautiful, beautiful garden. Nice yard for Jolie to run and play. So I thought, wow, that'll be really nice, if there was a garden or if there was flowers or, And then I thought, I want peace. I want quiet. And as you know, I've been doing a lot of cooking also because of the pandemic. And so a kitchen became very important to me. And I thought, kitchen, I got to have a place that I can create and cook and make my food. And then I thought, well, number one, there's got to be a place for Jolie. She's the best puppy. And I said, got to find a place for her to be able to walk where it's quiet and we can get out. And I went back and forth on house, apartment, the pros and the cons. And I thought, well, I'm up for a new journey. So I'm going to, go for apartment, condo, townhouse kind of thing. And so there I began my search. And, after setting the intentions, I just thought, well, let's see. Different things popped up. And I even tried to go to another city. And it was funny because as soon as I went over there, I was like, oh, no, you can tell, the energy of where you want to live. As I came back to where I live, it's like, just so peaceful here. I was like, no, I got to find the perfect place here. And there was at one point where I kind of was like, oh no, what if there isn't my perfect place? But I thought, nope, there is. I'm going to find it. It's going to come to me. And I had looked at the little place, and not because it was small, the square footage didn't bother me as much as the layout. And it had like this little teeny tiny kitchen, like it was slammed up against a wall. It reminded me of when I was in college and dorm. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I got it actually even made me sad So I thought, pay attention to your vibration, because you know how part of you is kind of like, well, maybe this is all you can find, or maybe you need to settle. That's your little gremlins talking. Oh, no, I am not settling. And I kept saying to myself, this or better, this or better. It's going to be this or better. It's going to be this or better. And then the very first place I had written to, they stopped writing to me after like 3 days. And you know what? 3 days felt like 3 years. I mean, all of this that was going on, there's so much happening, and time just felt like it was just going on forever. And I thought, well, maybe they got, maybe they rented the place, because some of the places were going like within hours. And then it was like, okay. But then they wrote me back. And she said, I'm so sorry. I was on a 3-day holiday. I'm like, oh. She says, yes, the places are still available. And the one place that I thought that I didn't want, and get this, because of money. I'm like, hello, you're the money alchemist. Money is energy. What are you doing? So I readjusted my thinking, and I thought, you know what? It's all good. And so get this. I wasn't going to be able to see the place for another 3-4 days. So I was trying to find some places, other to look at. Well, when you let go, right? Let go of that resistance. Then I got an email and a call. Oh, Ming, they're allowing you to see it today at 4:30. Are you available? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So I set the intention again. And I thought to myself, I'm going to bring everything she needs, a checkbook, and all this stuff. And I just have a feeling when I see it, I'm just going to know. So I got there. And when I drove in, and I had never been there before, I drove in, it was so peaceful, it was quiet. And it was like, there weren't very many people around. Parking available, and I thought, So I walked in and met the woman, she was very nice, and we went upstairs, and I met the couple that was living there, and I was so grateful, right, that she let me in, because it's during a pandemic. But she let me in. They were moving because they got a house. I asked them, do you love it here? She goes, we love it here. I said, do you have a dog? They go, yeah, we have a mountain dog. I said, oh my gosh, that's great. I said, how did your dog like this place? Oh, loved it. I walked in, and I kid you not, I walked through the front door, and it was an instant hell yes. And I was like, vibration up. So walked out. I told her, in fact, I even told her, it's a hell yes. And she laughed. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. So, I submitted all my paperwork, and, had to get the final okay with all that stuff. And it was so cool because the place where I go to yoga, they've lived here in this town for 30 years. And they said, Ming, out of all the places where we live, this place is the best place for you. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's great. More confirmation. It just made me so happy. So I did get my answer before my birthday. And, now it's the unpacking and the getting things together and getting into a new rhythm. And, but it's all good. It's all good. This is just a reminder. The miracles are in the unknown. So just remind yourself, it's not scary. It's okay. You're going to be okay. More than okay. This or better. So thanks for joining me. See you next week. Thanks for joining me and listening in. Please go to manifestbluemoney.com for a free chapter to download from my book, Money Blues to Blue Money. See you next time.